meals becoming great ain't solid now, but when you eat and everybody want a plate, want a seat at the table, want to act like they grateful. Don't mess with outsiders, y'all looking real unstable. If anything, they should ask me how I do it. Start taking notes, recording my every movement. I know that. What's up, everybody? Welcome to KB's Community. I am here with my guest and friend, DJ Payday.
What's good, y'all? Appreciate it.
So, I very much appreciate you for being here today because my last scheduled guest had something come up super last minute. You came in super clutch. I called you at like 1:40 to be here by 2:30. And so I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm going to clap for that too. So, what have you been up to?
Man, a lot. I wear a lot of hats. So I think lately I've been working on my own project, and I'm actually in the stage now where I'm like trying to pick a single. And it's hard.
So how many tracks do you have? And are you capping it where you're at, or are you going to keep creating for the same project?
I'm going to keep creating, but not for the same project. I've already slated some of the songs that were actually for the project with some of the artists. I think I'm just going to have them for one-offs or put them with other things. It's constantly in flux, but there's a couple core pieces and elements that I feel are like, this is what it should be. So
yeah,
that's exciting. But I know also that I'm in mid-process, and it's had to stay in flux. And I was actually disappointed because I'm really about deadlines and stuff, but I've kind of moved some of that stuff around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes when it comes to creativity, you have to forego your ideal deadlines for the sake of making sure everything falls the way it's supposed to, and you can really be pushing it and all of that. And so yep.
I'm totally a believer.
You know, I wanted to drop a single by July 10th, and do you see where we are? It's the first. So
man, sometimes, you know what, I come the way I was raised. I come from an old guard where it's like you make the music, you get it right. The cats that trained me, they would rehearse a song and get it right before they even went in the studio. So nowadays, the crew of cats that I'm around, we usually work on something and fine tune it until it's ready. And that may mean a last minute switch up, after everything's recorded. So,
yeah. When I first started going to the studio, people were always telling me to have my song 100% down and ready to go before I go. And that's more so because of like a time is money mentality. So, but
it's funny you say that. I believe in it, and I believe everybody's different. Everybody's process is different. So I've been around enough people now. Well, I'm supposed to be closer to the mic. I've been around enough people. I should know better. So I've been around enough people now where I understand that everybody's process is a little bit different. So like I know there's one guy I work with that he comes in every time. It's just his MO. He comes in and he's got his ad libs memorized. He's got his timing down. He knows when hasn't delivered right. He's rehearsed it so many times. So when he comes in, he's like 1 or 2 takes. Okay, ad libs, 1 or 2 takes. Okay, he might separate the hook, or he might just try to, because he's big on performing his song. So he writes and performs everything in such a way that he can perform it live. So that works well for him. And then I've got a lot of other people that they may have a rough sketch idea, but they may need somebody else. They like the idea of having someone else in the room that can be that other set of ears to help kind of sculpt it.
Right.
you know. And then some people, it's like, no, I need to do everything on the spot. I like to hear it on the spot and be inspired and catch, you know, as I got to tap into the emotion, the raw element. And so, you know, I respect it all,
Right.
you know.
And I can say working with you has helped me to kind of learn different styles as well, because I was set in the I have to have it all 100% memorized and down, and do it in 1 or 2 takes because you have an hour and this is your money. So, but like, I do appreciate your approach, the process of just kind of sitting down, building together, like realizing, I guess, going off of the energy in the room versus like knowing what I want to do right away all the time. So I kind of like that as well.
I think that's big. Whenever I work with anybody, I think trying to the goal should always be to make the best out of the song. So it's not necessarily to make a hit. A hit is that's what's the word I'm looking for? That's based on the listener. So, because what may be a hit to you may not necessarily be a hit to me. You
Right.
know, what I feel like if I ask you your top 10 songs that you're playing right now in the car, that's going to be completely different than my top 10 songs.
Right.
Unless we've been hanging out a whole lot. Then, and the same thing with everybody else. So, like, I just started getting into country music.
Okay.
And like, there's a cat, 2 cats that I just got into, Morgan Wallen, and it's another cat named oh shucksy, now you're gonna make me remember. Morgan Wallen and Teddy Swims.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah, I've heard of both of them.
when you listen to them, they're not really country.
No,
Not at
no.
all.
It's kind of closer to soul to me.
It is.
But country music kind of is soul with a different twist to it.
It is.
You
It
know?
is. It's something different now. And so, like, Morgan Wallen to me is like, he is, especially on his last album, to me, he about a drop skipping the, you know, like he about that close to having a collab album with Lil Baby or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. So, but nobody, would guess that that's on my top 10. But somebody else would be like, oh man, I can't stand that. That's not country, or I don't want to hear that mess or whatever.
Right.
So based on that, it's like, why worry about the end goal, like, or try to scope something with the purpose of I want people to like it, or I want this market to like it. Just create what you like, what you feel,
right,
and make it the best. In my job, when I come in a room, or anybody else's job when you bring them in, my job is to help make that idea the best that it can be. And that's important. So you come in with the raw energy, the raw idea, the raw essence, and I'm just here to polish it.
Yeah.
I think that should always be the goal, whether it be the creatives coming in with a raw, like, matter of fact, okay, so what was it? Human Nature by Michael Jackson. That joint, that was done by this group named Toto. So one of the guys in Toto back in the day, they made this beat and they sent it to Quincy. And so it was Quincy, like the beat by itself was fire. It was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But what Quincy's job is to come bring in the writers and to get Mike to make it the best it could be. And that was the goal. So it doesn't matter who starts the idea. Ultimately, the idea is to make it better. Like, you sent me something today. Like, I'm gonna tell you, it was something I did and I felt questionable about it.
And I told you, why were you questionable about it?
Because we're always our own worst critic.
That's true. But how do you feel about it now? Okay, so sorry, I interrupted. What were you gonna say? Finish your thought.
Like that joint, I thought it was like questionable. I was like, to me, it was probably one of my throwaways. But you took it and, you heard something and you were like, no, let's do this. And what you sent me back, from what you heard. And I'm always open. I love that. I love that. It was like, no, I hear something.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm open to whatever you're gonna throw. So I was open to it. When I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, you made me a believer. Girl.
Yeah.
Like,
so let me just tell you, this artist, it's funny because when we made that beat, I was like, I want to do like an uplifting, fun Afro beat type of deal. And you're like, let's do it, right? And then
I probably said it just like that.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. All right. But anyway, I was like, we realized that it needed a different twist than just me. Like, it needed something authentic. So what you said is that we need either like a UK artist or an artist that like does like the African music and Afro beats.
Okay.
So, and I had no clue who to get on it. I went through my followers and everything. So I actually just happened to be at Bremen on Wednesday supporting. There was a show, and he was a performer. Kelvin Sosa.
Okay.
So yeah, so I heard him and I was like, that's it. That's the guy. Wow. So shout out to him. He just sent that back to me this morning. Wow. He said he was messing around with the beat a little and it was perfect.
It was.
It's what he does. So it was his bag. I see. So thank you, Kelvin.
Thanks, Kelvin. We definitely got
Sosa. Sorry, he told me call him Sosa.
Oh, Sosa. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Sosa. We definitely got to tap in, brother.
So we are planning to come to you for that song. Okay. But we'll talk about that later. Okay. I don't think I even asked you what you do. So give everybody some background. Cause
okay. Like how far back are we going?
Just what you do, I guess, what you work on. Well, just as far back as you feel like going.
I'll go with what I got right now. Is I currently have a production company, and I'm also a mix engineer. So it basically means I can do everything from zero to hero. I can take an idea. I also I'm a writer, so I've written for artists as well, co-written, you name it, vocal produced, recorded, everything. I've done everything. I've had artists fly to me. I flew to them. I've recorded, mixed, mastered. Most notably, I think recently I've been working with John Connor, who used to be signed to Aftermath. Me and him have actually a couple joints. One just dropped that has Joey Cool from what is Tech Nine? Strange Music, Tech Nine's label.
Okay.
Is on it, and a couple other people. And so me and another cat, I produced it. And then me and another cat, we like kind of co-mixed it, which was like an interesting experience, co-mixing a song. So
I'm sure.
Yeah, it was different, but I was like really open, and that was because John, like being I'm like real open to people's ideas. So like I tell you a little story about that. So first, John, when I sent John the track, John was like, "Oh, yes, this is incredible." 3 months later.
3 months later.
I finally get like a rough. He kept telling me like, I'm about to send it to you. Bro, I'm about to send it. He texts me and I'm like, I get nothing. And like one night, it's like a Wednesday night. I'm like 10 o'clock. I'm like starting to nod off on the couch. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to chill out tonight. And he texts me. He's like, bro, take a listen. I'm like, listen to what? And he sent me the song. He's like, man, take a listen. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fire, bro. I was half asleep. And I told him, I was like, bro, I really didn't get the record when I first heard it. I was like, but it sounded dope. And then he hits me. He's like a couple minutes later, he's like, hey, bro, you want to mix it? I'm like, yeah. What? Okay, yeah. I feel like mixing. So it really be like that too.
Okay. Do
Okay,
it.
so it's like it was hard. That he really he was like, man, I love this, but I got this idea. What if we like do part of what he did here, and then everything else you do this here, and we do this. And I was like, I don't care.
Is that difficult to make it sound cohesive when it's two different people mixing?
I mean, I think me and the other guy's style are very close.
Oh, okay.
Our ears.
Okay.
So and then if I mastered the record too. So for me, it wasn't difficult to make it sound cohesive. Even if his was like a little off or something, like I would have made it work regardless. That's, I've been doing it a while. So
how long is a while?
Ooh, I've been engineering since 2009. That's when I started recording and trying to mix. Trying to mix. That was trash.
Keyword being trying.
Yes. I started out mixing in FL Studio. I was recording and mixing in FL. That was trash. But I figured out how to make. There's a couple songs out there. People are like, oh, I love it, and they get replay value. And I did all that in FL. And when I look back at those sessions, because I had somebody that they had an old session that I did, and they came to me like years later, was like, hey, let's release that. And I was like, dude, okay, I got to get that session out and put it in Pro Tools now. So I actually went and finished it in FL. Okay. I went back and just finished the mix in FL because it was what I was doing back then was so convoluted. I was so confused in my own workflow. I was like, I don't even know how to bounce this out. So I'm just going to have to figure out how to make it sound better here.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. But yeah, I've been doing it for a while, so I kind of I know some shortcuts.
Okay.
I figured out a couple things, but there's always more to learn. So I know how to get done what I need to get done, but I never feel like I know what I need to know. So I'm always like studying, always hungry. So yeah.
And that's the only way to keep progressing is to realize that you never will know everything there is to know about anything. So it's actually great to be able to keep learning because when you have the mindset of I don't know enough about something, then like you just get better and better because of the fact that you're hungry to know more.
Now, the other thing I do is I also have a sample company by the name of Multicolor Samples. And I got a couple homies that are partnered up with me on the label. One cat by the name of Ryan Allen out in, where is Ryan? I keep forgetting. Sorry, Ryan. My brain is. Where is he? Oh, God dang it. I'm going to remember later. So, and then my other guy, Sam Mandel, who's out in New York. And Ryan Allen, just so you know, like Ryan is like, I'm honored to like work with both of them on the sample company because these guys are like giants in their own right, like very talented. Like Ryan Allen is like he's an artist, he's a writer, he's written for some of everybody. He's currently got a pub deal as a writer. He's also an engineer, producer at a studio out where he is, if I can remember the city. And I was just out there too.
Oh wow!
And then Sam is just an incredible guitarist. He's part of a band out in New York. They do some amazing things. He's has worked with this production collective that's legendary as well. So between the three of us, we've done some work with samples, and we provide that to the industry and. A lot of industry homies all over the country. We even got a distribution deal out in the UK as well. And so we do some stuff out there. So we know how to move around. So that's doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah. That's a lot of fun. So it'll to me, it's just a way to like not follow any rules. So when you get sick of one thing, like the whole, I've tried to structure everything to be like, okay, when I get bored, how do I stay creative? But like, I don't want to keep doing the same thing. So sometimes I'll just engineer, sometimes I'll just record. Like right now, I'm not in a recording engineering phase. Like
Okay.
I've like phase. So if anybody hit me up trying to record that, unless you already somehow magically, I don't know who that would be, but otherwise, no, I don't do that right now.
You're only looking to what, produce right now, or
Yeah.
only work on your own projects in the moment?
I'm really about anything that I'm producing,
Okay.
or a part of from a creative standpoint. And to me, that's like another element. Recording and mixing, um, then becomes, to me, it's just like another element of producing the record.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like another instrument.
Right.
But like technically bringing people in and recording strangers on stuff. Like for me, anybody that works for me, you gotta be vouched for. You gotta like know somebody I already know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I gotta.
I've seen so firsthand.
Yes, I'm picky, so I'm real picky. So
It's fine to be, absolutely.
Yep.
Gotta be. Protect your energy.
For real, for real.
Protect your name.
Protect your name, and it's very intimate. I think that when you get in and you start working with people, it's a very intimate experience.
It is. It's almost like a therapy session.
Oh, facts.
Yeah.
Facts. So I don't take that lightly.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't, mix with everybody on that. Because you're you guys literally are exchanging energies.
Mm-hmm.
Because people, how sessions go, real sessions, real good sessions. It's not like in and out. It's not like a wham bam, thank you, man. Things. It's not. That is, to me, that's McDonald's.
Yeah.
And some people are very, very, very good at that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think some of the best sessions, to me, especially from a recording,
it's a slow cooker.
Engineer. Yeah. Like there are guys, and not every engineer is equal. Like some engineers are really good at just taking, records and that are sent to them and just mixing it. Yeah, I've done that. And then some people are good with, being in the room and it's, recorded and then mixed, and then maybe that's a rough mix and that rough mix gets into someone else. I think there's all, various aspects of that, but I like to be in the room, part of the process, helping to vocal produce it, you know, throwing ideas, ping ponging ideas off each other, seeing how things feel. And sometimes it may break off into like a conversation, where you're writing, you got this bar here, or maybe you've got it written, you're like, okay, I want to sing it like this. And it strikes up a conversation about that subject. And then you two are basically, because in that element, artists tend to then, when they feel safe, they'll go into a little bit more of the emotional baggage behind that verse.
That's fact.
That language. And as a vocal producer, I kind of gotta step into that role of listening and feeling what that other person is feeling, in order to interpret that or know how to scope the voice, or know, okay, hey, you know what the energy you're trying to put out in your delivery, I can't really feel that the way you're delivering it. And I think, you need to adjust it like this, because then I can feel it, and that's intimate. I think that when you trust somebody, like your art is like your baby.
Exactly.
And so when you give somebody your art and you say, okay, go ahead and touch my art and adjust it. That's like Picasso giving his, picture, half done painting to Rembrandt and saying, hey, touch it up for me. I mean, what do you think it's missing? Why don't you try to, throw a couple of dabs on it. See what, yeah. I mean, that's literally what it is. That's personal.
It is.
So you got to really have a lot of trust. And you got to be willing to absorb that other person's energy and vice versa.
Right. And I know there are times that I've even had to walk away from certain songs and take breaks in between to, like, after we've talked through some lines that I've written, and I'm like, whoa, this is a lot. And I have to, like, step back to, just recalibrate and get my I don't know. I process it,
Hmm.
and then come back later.
That's, I think, again, that's some of the best songs. There are, if you study some of the songs that are out by various artists, like there's a podcast that broke down Goapele's, I forget which song it was, but I remember she talked about on the podcast how she basically took like 7 years to work on a song because
Hmm.
she came to one producer, she wrote it, she didn't really, later on she's like, I don't really like the beat, like it doesn't really go. Like I wrote this and I understand now it's gotta, the subject matter and what I'm saying needs something else.
Hmm.
And she couldn't find that something else from anybody for a couple of years until she got with somebody else. And like, I think it was like she accidentally played it for him or something like that. And they were like, hold up, wait a minute, what's that? I need, let's do this. And it caused her to like rewrite and even readdress some things. And then the timing of where she was in life and some of the
Hmm.
things that were going on in the world like were more in line with what she was talking about, so
Yeah.
she was able to like add more to it, you
Hmm.
know because she had grown.
Hmm.
So that's dope, like to
When
me.
people say trust the process, that's exactly what they mean.
No, facts,
Yep.
facts. And I think a lot of people have, um a lot of people who haven't been in the game long enough. That's not everybody. I shouldn't say that because some people's process are very fast. I know. Matter of fact, there's a cat here, from here, Lucian. Um, Lucian is amazing. I've seen him come in and just kill and write something in a couple minutes and walk out like I'm done. And I'm like, nigga, that was amazing. Like, how did you hear that? So I think some people do have a gift, but
Hmm.
I think some things, most of the time, it takes experience in life, and because when you write, when you produce, when you're in that creative mode, you're funneling an experience, a
Right.
moment through the filter of everything, all your years of being alive and everything that you've experienced and how you've held it, and how you value it, and then you're running it back out into something. So that experience, that moment has to filter through you. The more you've gone through things, or the more you've experienced, or the harder life has been, or easier, or whatever the case, that makes a big difference.
Hmm.
And where you are now may not necessarily be where you are a year from now, or 5 years from now.
Hmm.
I know that for myself. I'm different than where I was a year ago.
Right.
So that's amazing,
Hmm.
and that's art.
It
Uh,
is.
I'm long-winded too, y'all. I talk too much.
That's why we're here to talk now, isn't it? That's why podcasts are good for people that talk a lot. Myself, case in point.
Facts. You do talk a lot.
I do. I either talk a lot or I go silent. And when I go silent, people think there's something wrong, but
I mean,
I'm just,
your
my
wheels are
wheels are just turning.
spinning, spinning.
Exactly.
It's like, hold up, something good about to come out.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I'm either talking or I'm silent and thinking.
Facts,
So,
facts, facts. And you have an incredible mind too.
well, thank you.
Your creativity. Where you I've always told you, like, where you um like, just you, the way you put you out. And I feel like this about a lot of people, but you are unique to you. So what you talk about, what you put out, the energy you put out, like I can't hear that from somebody else.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
can't pick another artist and be like somebody else to talk about that the way you talk about it. No, you're unique to you.
And I love that because I feel like that's how you make a difference and that's how people hear you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's like when nobody else offers what you offer is really when it's, I don't know, special, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
thank
Definitely.
you.
Oh, you're welcome. So, yeah, I can't. In a roundabout, I went all over around the world to like talk about what I do. So yeah, I produce in just about everything. I've been doing it for a long time. I started out as a writer as a kid, and my father had me in studios. I'm third generation music industry. Yeah, so that's about it. So I've been around it, and I seem like I'm better than I really am.
Why would you say that?
Because I know where I could improve, and I know how to hide that.
But that's everybody, though.
Okay, facts.
That's what we're all
I'll take
doing.
that. I'll take that.
We're all hiding what we perceive to be our imperfections that other people don't see that way.
Okay, good. Well,
like my guest last week actually said something about how he'll hear his songs and hear things that sound like hiccups to him, but someone else will be like, oh, that's actually my favorite part. So people perceive your work and you differently than you perceive yourself.
Okay, I'll receive that.
Okay.
But I know where I want to like improve. So like, but you know what? I would take that.
We can. The thing is, yes, we can all improve, and we all personally know. But the thing is, no, I don't think anybody else is critiquing you as hard as you are.
Yeah,
and that's something I had to tell myself, and so now it's something I can tell other people.
Yeah,
so
I received that.
Okay,
I'm getting better with that.
Okay. That's that perfectionism.
Man,
I know what it looks like.
man, am I a perfectionist? I really drive hard on myself. There's some, I think, like there's some pieces, some things, and I'm like, man, I don't know. And then a lot of, I had one of my producer friends tell me years ago, he said, look, man, he said, the only reason you don't like this is because it doesn't have an artist on it. He said, once you have an artist on this, he said, man, then you'll love it again.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, that's usually what points in case.
That makes sense.
Yeah, point in case.
Yeah. Oh, so, yep. Like
yeah, absolutely. So.
The beat we made. The beat we made, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, that we got somebody on. So.
But yeah, so that's like, oh, so I'm just okay. Yeah, well, that makes sense. But yeah, I love the process. I'm in love with the process, not in love with the result. I don't really care what the results are. But
the results aren't gratifying.
They are deceiving.
Why do you say that?
Because it can make you think that there's a destination. And some people will then go after the destination. And the thing is there is no destination. It's like growing up. Like the whole phrase, I can't wait till I grow up.
Yeah. There is no destination. We really never stop growing up, do we?
Nope. You hit 30 and you're like, no,
yeah,
I'm gone it.
Exactly.
Son of a biscuit.
So this is what this is.
Man, I wish I had known. Oh, man, I was so dumb. Oh,
somebody should have told me when I was 13 this was what it was going to be like.
You know what I'm saying? It's things you do at 20. You think, I got it now. I got it. And then, 5-10 years later, you're like,
I definitely did not have it.
I did not have it. So the same thing goes, with that. I think, if you just, well, it's like life. If you get in love with the process of improving and getting better and, becoming whoever it is you're evolving into on a constant growth process, you won't be afraid of change.
Right.
When things do happen that make you reflect and say, you know what, I've been jacking. It doesn't hurt you as much because you're like, okay, this is part of the phases. This is just part of life. This is just what you do. You get experience something new. You grow. You like, adjust. Kind of like they say how a rocket, adjusts constantly on its way to the moon. What I'm saying? I think it's the same thing. Creatively speaking, I don't like to worry about I don't like to focus on the results. The results, they're great. I just don't want to focus on that. Me personally.
Okay.
Because then it may affect how you begin. You may start to judge yourself like, "Ooh, I need to do that again," and I don't even know how I did it.
And I feel like that's kind of what I'm coming out of.
Okay.
Is being very result oriented. And so you even have been slowing me down with that as well. With the I need immediate results because of the fact that I'll sit and wait and come back to something. But yeah.
No, because
So
you
I'm
can't.
just
Exactly. You can't really control the results.
yeah.
I can't control, like, if I can make a piece right now, I can get the dopest artists to come in and work on it. And I can, matter of fact, point in case, I got 2 songs that I've worked on, one with John Connor, one with this young lady out in Florida named Nahimi. And um both of them beautiful songs to me. Both of them I'm honored to be a part of.
Mm-mm.
Um, one is an R&B piece. The other is very West Coast, um, aftermath sounding.
Mm-hmm.
you know, I love both of them. So I sent it to this woman that I came across, and she was like, "Oh, you do music?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah." So I sent one song, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing! I love this. Oh, are you doing anything else with this woman? Like, this is amazing."
Mm-hmm.
Then later on, I sent her the other song, and she was like, "Oh, that's nice."
It's all about personal taste.
Absolutely. So I can my favorite mom spaghetti that she made, and I'm like, I like one of my homies love it, and I bring it to you, and you're like, that ain't all that good. How can you create with the goal in mind? With the effective result. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna make something that,
Yeah.
like, do something you love.
Right. Make what you love and what you feel.
Exactly. Like, that's something you can repeat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, I just was in a discussion with one of the homies recently about, why there is no number one, hip hop song in the country and all this kind of jazz. Okay. That's just life.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. Um, but then my one buddy, he kind of pointed out, like, his perspective was, it's not enough risk takers. We've
It's
kind of,
true. We're
we
all playing it safe right now.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, don't play it safe. I'd rather not do anything, than try to play it safe. Um, in fact, that playing it safe is what scared. I'm scared to play it safe.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Because then
something,
you just blend in. I'm
yes,
afraid to blend in, really.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, and that's my fear. Whenever, that's probably when I become critical of myself, when it starts to, this sounds like something.
Mm.
This sounds too familiar. I don't know about this beat. I don't know about this song. Like, I don't know. It doesn't sound different enough to me. That's probably my personal, like, bar for critiquing myself.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so that's um, I think that's important, to go from where you're at and who you are and what you're feeling, because then that's when it becomes unique, that you can't even copy what you did 5 days ago,
Right.
because you're different.
Mm-hmm.
But if you strike when iron is hot, and you got that moment, that's a beautiful thing. Like, I got one sample pack that I did, like, it was funny. I did it on my MacBook. Did I have the keyboard then? I think I might have had a keyboard, this keyboard. It's just a MacBook and a keyboard. Did a whole sample pack on this, a MacBook and a keyboard.
Oh, wow.
And I was at the I was doing this um what was it? It was like some little part-time work at the, what's it called now? It was called the Midwest Express Center. I don't even know what it's called now. Downtown, the big expo center downtown
Oh, okay.
Milwaukee.
I know what you're talking
So I
about.
was in there. This was like some years ago. So I'm in there, and I'm just like, it was one of them jobs where it's like you just sit around and, like, do nothing, like, all day, and it was just like a 1 week job. So, like, 1 week, 8 hour, 12 hours a day of just, like, sitting around, like, almost doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of free time, so I would pull out my laptop and I would just doodle. That's all it was. It was just doodling. I hear something. Let me, and then I was trying to, like, play the keyboard. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I knew a couple homies that, like, made beats just, like, on the keys, the ABC keys. And I was like, I wonder if I can. So I was doing stuff on the ABC keys,
Mm.
and that sample pack is like literally the favorite of a number of cats. And they're like, man, can you do something like that again? I'm like, bro, I don't know how I did that in the first place. That was just a vibe I was in for that week. Like I literally had nothing else to do, but my mind just wandered. I was trying stuff. So yeah, no, I don't know how.
You're like, there's no repeats.
No
Like, I don't
repeats.
even remember how I did it.
Nope. But that's the beautiful thing. That's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? I think when you're really being creative, I think that's how inspiration really is. You know,
Yeah,
it evolves with you because you evolve.
I agree.
You know.
Yep. And I feel like everything I write is generally just how I'm feeling at a certain point in my life, even on a certain day, a certain week. So, yeah, I think it is important that your music be a part of where you're at in the moment, because I feel like I can even see my own evolution just through what I've written. And I can hear the different emotions that I've been through over the years now, that I can go back and listen to music from 5 years ago to 2 to 3 years ago, and then what I'm working on right now. I just think it's really cool to see like the progression.
Man, it is dope. Like I'm like I love, because I hear all kind of stuff y'all don't hear yet. So I love your progression. I think it's really dope. You know,
Thank you.
That's exciting from my standpoint. Like that's exciting to take something rough or hear and like hear the potential and then say, look, no, just like give them like, and not really affect things. Like don't go in and like mess with it. Just like encourage. Like no, keep going. Because a lot of times,
like gentle shepherding.
no, for real. That's really that's man, because I think of myself. I just had, like my dad was around, and he was when I was around as a kid. I learned to write because no one told me I couldn't. So the guys they would rehearse and everything, and I saw my dad writing, and I was like, I'm listening to stuff. And I would come up with ideas and I would say, hey, look, I should really do this, really do it. And nobody ever told me, all right, that's cute, kid. Like, now let the big boys do, let us show you how to. No, they were like, okay, what you hear here. All right, well, let's try that. Like nobody said no to me. So
yeah, they were encouraging.
Yes, yes. So I want to give everybody that same experience, because otherwise all it would have took is like one person that I respected to tell me, "No, that's trash, kid." For it, and I could have squashed it. Right. By the time I did hear somebody tell me your beats are trash, I kind of knew they was trash. But
Can't hurt my feelings. I already know.
I already hurt my own feelings.
Right.
Shouldn't have came to you. But no, I had enough. I had built up enough of my own confidence in myself that I could see where I was going. It's interesting. I was just watching last night. I love documentaries. I love them. Like I study them, because the thing is that life is life, and it applies. So life lessons apply to everything.
Right. Absolutely.
Doesn't matter. So
right.
The
principles are the same across the board.
Absolutely. Like somebody said, there's no such thing as business ethics. It's just ethics. That's just it. It's just ethics. So the principles apply. Same principles apply everywhere. And I'm very big, and I'm getting bigger on and more defined in my own life. So anyway, with that, I was watching a documentary on Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he said at the beginning, he was like, look, he was out in Austria, and when he first started getting exposed to bodybuilders and all that kind of stuff and acting, he said he could see it. he could see the goal, like his end goal of being, wealthy and in demand.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he could see the path there, like clear as day. He was like, it was so clear to him. He was like, it wasn't a struggle. It wasn't, he was just like, I know it's like walking across the street.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's right there. I just got to walk. I may have to skip over a couple of things, but it's right there.
Yeah.
Um,
So basically, he wasn't tripping because he saw the map.
yes, yes. And I think for me, I had enough people around me at the time that I just encouraged me long enough that I got it. And I
Mm-hmm.
could see things. I was like, yeah, I'm trash now, but just give me some time.
Right.
I'll be straight. I really could care less. And so it didn't mess with me when people were like, a couple people were like, nah, that's trash. I was like, oh, that's okay. That's good for you. Um, and a couple of dope songs came out of that trash time period too. So songs that I still like, I made that then. I was doing trash. Like it was like 1 out of every 20 was good for a song. But
The thing is, one is bound to be
one,
good if you keep practicing and you keep
man.
doing it over and over. Something's gonna turn out decent.
Facts. Absolutely. It's like writing, which
Mm.
I'm trying to get back into writing. That's girl. Oh my gosh.
Do
Man.
it.
Oh, I
Go
am.
for it.
I am. It's scary. Only because the training wheel, like it's all dusty. So,
Mm.
but I love it. I love the whole process. That's why I like being able to pick and choose, because it allows me to kind of dust off and say, I feel like doing this.
Yeah.
Let me run in this realm.
Once you get bored with one avenue, you just switch up and go to the other lane for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. I and that it keeps everything interesting. It keeps it fun, and I think it keeps whatever you do more authentic.
Yeah, I could see that. Mm-hmm.
Because um, you don't have to worry about what do you call that, writer's block or
Mm-hmm.
creative block as much.
I feel like it would keep the passion alive too, because then you don't burn out on any one thing.
Yeah.
Or if you feel yourself starting to get there, then you can just switch it up.
And for me, what I realize is working in one area often inspires the other areas.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for me, I for a long time, whenever I wasn't inspired to actually create, what I would do was study. So I used to study mixing whenever I couldn't create anything. I was like, I was like, I'm just going to study mixing, man, just because. And it was interesting that learning so many different concepts behind mixing would lead back to production. It would lead, because it was like, that is really dope. I wonder if I try that on X, Y, and Z. Hold up, wait a minute. I hear an idea. And that's where it would be, So it's art imitates life. It inspires you. Then you get around dope people like you, girl.
Moi?
Facts.
Me.
Yes. I mean, look at this. This is dope. Come on now. This is more of your creativity.
Too. It is.
Exactly.
And it's fun.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got a couple homies. I got to get on the show with you too. But anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Who you talking about?
Oh, I got a couple homies. I'm
You gonna talk off air? Sounds good.
Yeah. I'm not gonna call no names like on air and they're like, bruh, wow, you
right?
Put me on the spot like that.
Yeah.
But no, definitely. This is dope. Like this is really dope.
Thank you.
And for a long time, for a lot of people, I would never do this.
I know. That's why I feel special. I do feel special because I know you don't do this type of stuff for everybody.
No. This is, and you know this. This is me in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is like the conversations we had.
Exactly.
In the booth. So,
which is why I knew it would be a smooth transition over to a podcast. We'd be having these kind of conversations that anybody would want to listen to anyway.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Man. But yeah, that's the dope thing. That's my background. Man. So many stories, so many times, so many things. Man, I recently, it was a couple years ago, I actually got to mix one of the songs that I was in the studio as a kid listening to get recorded.
Really? You mean
Yes.
like remaster or what?
No, like it never got
It
mixed.
never got
It
mixed?
never got mixed.
What?
Like my father had six is it six reels,
Hmm.
I believe. You know, Dad, don't quote me on this. Don't beat me up if I got the number wrong. But
Hmm.
he had like six reels because he's recently got some things going, and he taught me a lesson. Like, well, he learned a lesson. He shared it with me. So he was like, "Don't throw away stuff." He was
Oh.
like, "Don't throw away stuff."
Mm.
And he had some old records and original print from when I was a kid of a certain song that he had put out, and that certain things happened, and he ended up with all this stock still in the
Hmm.
box, brand new, still never opened,
Hmm.
45s on vinyl. So he ended up getting a phone call from the UK that someone had been looking for him, looking for who sang this song, and was like, "Hey, do you got any more of these 45s? Like these could go like hotcakes." So that
Really?
opened up some other doors. That turned into some other things. Next thing you know, he's digging out these reels of tape of these sessions that he did, years and years ago. Um, and I remembered one song. I remembered a bunch of them. I don't remember all of them, but I remembered a bunch of them. I remember being in the studio. I remember, the sessions. I remember the rehearsals. I was there. Um, and it was like, so it was amazing.
It's like a
Like
time capsule.
it really was. It really was. And for me, it was amazing because there was a lot of things that got done wrong in the studio then
Hmm.
because, they just didn't have access to the talent. But it was funny because all the work I put into all the homies that have taught me a lot about making samples, um, it actually came in handy because I was able to take a lot of that skill set and I was able to hear a lot of things that I normally would not. If it wasn't for that skill, I
Hmm.
wouldn't have been able to hear. And I was able to do some things to really bring those records alive um, and do some things. It was very time consuming. I think I got through like two songs because it was
Okay.
very.
So how did you have to the technology is obviously completely different. So how did you have to like transfer it to be able to work on it?
I didn't.
You
So
didn't?
he sent it out to a company out in was it Texas? I think Texas, and they transferred it into Pro Tools sessions
Okay.
and Logic sessions. So
Okay.
he had either or to pull from. And so I'm a Pro Tools guy, so I took the Pro Tools sessions. And what's funny is back then they were very conservative on the tape. So he had three songs on each reel.
Okay.
So was it six reels? So that's like 18 songs, something like that. Yeah, 18 songs. So I just started like one reel and I had to break it up, cut those songs, figure out where they ended. Because it was really like one long session.
Hmm.
And the songs just didn't stop. It's like
Oh.
about a little break.
Hmm.
You hear some people in the background. All right, Mike. Uh, we gonna take five real quick. Man, what you doing with man? Would you put that down? Man. See, Tyrone acting goofy again. No, 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 no. Man, just give me the cigarette. Okay, we're gonna get started in 5, 3,
You should somehow keep some of that and mix it into the end.
uh and then like and the funny thing is like I would hear like because I can go in and I heard conversations and stuff that was going in because the
Mm.
mics never got cut off, so they be recording. Man, when is
Talking about each other.
yes, yeah.
Talking mess. That's hilarious.
It is. It was a different. It really was a time capsule, but it was dope. Like going in and cleaning it up, and and making it into something. And I think I like made one song hit too hard, and my dad was like, "Yeah." that slaps a little too hard. Like pull that back. Like that kid's hitting. I mean, I like it, but I can't have that. It's not going. No.
Well, you had too much bass on the old school song.
Man, because I know what I'm doing. So I had, man, look, it's too many tricks. It was like really fun, you know.
I'm sure. So did you keep it with like obviously the sound of the time period? Because we know the sound is different now. If you were to mix something, vocals now versus back then.
I mixed it to my ear.
Okay.
I mixed it, and it's funny because I also remember the original. I remember hearing it back then, so I kind of reference what I thought sounded good for the record. So it was probably songs at the time period. I would say if you go back to like some old Lionel Richie, the vocals are like in the mix a little bit more. I never did like that.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds good. Don't get me wrong. You listen to some of those songs just because of the balance and everything. But me personally, I wanted the vocals just a little, not as upfront as they are today, but more than they were back then. Probably closer to like a 90s record.
Okay.
Is what I did 90s, maybe early 2000s. I kind of did something like that in a little mix of today. And he enjoyed it. Pop was like, oh, this is amazing. What's funny is, I will say, an interesting thing is that like because it was done on tape and the way they bounced it back, it pitched up all the songs.
Oh, okay.
So I heard it.
Because you have to pitch it back down then?
Yep.
I assume.
And because I knew the record, I knew all the records. I was familiar with them. I knew how my dad's voice sounds. I was like, yeah, this is a little high. So I had to pitch it back down into his tone. Yeah. So that was interesting. It was all like it was like a learning experience. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Awesome. So we're gonna wrap it up soon, but I have one more question.
Okay, hit me.
What is something you and I have not done yet that you would like to work on together? I feel like we've covered a lot of bases.
We haven't done a real trap record or something.
We haven't
like. I mean, the one joint you were on ad-libs.
Yeah.
But I think
that song just got performed recently.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Okay. Make a phone call. Yeah, I want to do something like probably in that pocket with you. I mean, you know what? Man.
Let's do it. I do make that
Hey.
kind of music. I just haven't with you because I'm always in my feelings and on my soft side when I be working with you.
I like that side.
I know.
How about
I usually go to Tay when I make something hard because there's some stuff I don't like you hearing me say.
I can respect that.
It's some stuff I can't say in front of you.
I respect that. I respect that. I think I have that effect on a lot of people, and that's cool. I'm okay with it.
I can make something hard with you, but I have to watch my content a little bit still.
That's valid.
All right.
I have found that I have that effect on people.
We're gonna do it though. I'm excited.
I think the politically correct answer for that, what I like to do is that I haven't done before with you is the next song.
Oh yes. Oh, whatever the next song is. Okay.
Because every time we tap in, it's
something different.
Yep, absolutely.
Which keeps it fun.
Keeps
it spicy.
Yes. And you have a lot of inspiration to draw from, and I like that. So
I do. I got lots of experiences.
Yeah, like the one you just threw at me recently. You hit me up. You was like, I need this collab between me and so, and I was like, I literally was like, what's that gonna sound like?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is a challenge. This sounds fun. Because I know both of y'all.
Right.
So, and I got records of both of y'all. So I'm like,
now how to merge.
How to merge that?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you always come with like, some curveball at.
That's the thing about me. I'm full of crazy ideas, and I
Yes,
love to shoot them out there and see what comes back, what works.
exactly. And that's what I
I
think.
like to say, you throw stuff at a wall enough time, something's bound to stick.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. You got to be willing to like do something horrible to
absolutely.
get something really dope.
Because I'm telling you, some of the most creative artists probably have some real trash that never got released.
Man.
Because you're just thinking so out there. It's so different that it's a little too different sometimes.
Man. You ever like heard any of the stories behind like how Outcast stuff was done, or like Dungeon Family when they were like cooking? Like some of the stuff, like their stories behind like Waterfalls by TLC. Like you hear that like da-da-da-da with the drum. They said that was the drum machine that they were using. They would do it all in the basement. So before they moved into that studio, that was like in this damp, dirty basement is where they did everything. And so it got moisture inside the drum machine. And so one button would stick. And so that's what it was. They played it back. They were doing the recording, and it stuck every time that kick hit.
And now that sound is iconic.
Yes.
And everybody knows it from that song specifically.
Facts. See?
That was one of their best accidents.
Happy accidents. There you go. Well.
All right.
It's been an honor and a privilege.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Always is. Love talking to you.
Likewise. Till the next time.
We'll be right here creatively.
Man.
Facts.
Love it.
All right. Well, that is it for this episode of KB's Community. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Tap in with us next time.